Generating leads in real estate is one of the hardest things and arguably one of the most important things that you are going to need to be excellent at in order to be successful in 2026 and beyond. It has gotten more expensive, it's gotten harder, and there's just a lot more competition of people that are doing the best ways to generate leads. So in this video, I'm going to break down not only from the context of I generate over 1,400 leads for my team every single month, but I'm going to give you the context of what I would do if I had to start over, knowing what I know now, and you can actually go and implement this into your business today and make a big change on your career. So let's go ahead and dive in. If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian. I'm a team leader and owner of Onyx Homes. We generate over, like I said, 1,400 leads every single month. So this is not theory. This is like what we actually train our agents to do. And for the record, I'm going to go through this as if you are starting at 0 leads and nothing, no database, no nothing to do. So the very first thing that I would do, I'm actually not going to cover until the very end of this video because that's the easiest checkbox things to do. Everything else on here is like you need to actually go implement this plan. So I'm going to cover that thing very last. But the very first thing I personally would do is I would start with open houses. I would start with open houses, one, doing them correctly, which I have training videos on how to do open houses on my channel. So I'm not going to cover too much of that. What I am going to cover is going deeper on doing open houses. So first and foremost is I would make sure that I'm doing open houses in the area and price point that is most conducive or easiest for me to actually do deals. Now, what do I mean by that? My market that I'm in is Southern California, and in Orange County, for example, the median home price is about $1.2 million. But if you zoom out, about 75% of all transactions happen between $500,000 and $1.5 million. So I would not do open houses that were not inside of those price points. Also in our market, I would prefer to do one outside of a gated community. Little things like that. So you want to give yourself the biggest surface area in order to be successful. Again, I have tons of training on how to do open houses at a 10 out of 10 level, but I would expect to get about a 10% conversion rate on leads, meaning I'm going to convert 10 leads into one closed sale. Now, my goal from an open house is to get 1 lead every single time I do it. So if I'm doing Saturday and Sunday, that would be 2 leads per weekend. And if I'm doing that every single week, I would be doing it would take me 5 weeks, think about it like 1 month in order to do a deal. Now you will ramp this up over time, but in the beginning, that would be the idea. So I could figure in month maybe 2 or 3, I can get to a deal, but that is the very first thing that I would do. Now, number 2 is I would leverage doing the open house, not just showing up to do the open house and being there from 1 to 4 or 12 to 5, as I recommend. It would be doing all the other things since you're already there and you're already putting in all that effort. If you're going to do 2 open houses from 12 to 5 and 10 hours of that, plus maybe an hour or 2 of putting up signs, you might as well do the other things. So there's 3 things you can add on to your open houses that will leverage this and turn your open house strategy into a lead multiplier strategy. I'm going to talk a lot about this today. So the 3 different things. The first one is you will door knock the neighborhood. So for example, if you're going out and putting signs out at 9 a.m., I'm going to put 20 to 30 signs out in the neighborhood. And after I finish doing that, maybe while I'm putting out the signs, I'm just going to knock on neighbors' doors so that I can let them know, hey, there's an open house down the street. I just wanted to let you know you're going to see some extra traffic. By the way, do you mind if I put a sign right in front of your house? Right? That would be the type of conversation. I'm not door knocking to say, hey, will you sell your house? Will you let me sell your house? No, make it make sense to what you're doing. This will help you canvas the neighborhood and get to know some of the neighbors. This is how you get listings from open houses. So while I'm doing this, I am also going to make sure that I'm doing the same open house over and over and over again. And as I'm putting out my signs, even if I knock on 10 doors every day, I'm going to be able to canvas the neighborhood at some point. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a more high leverage thing. Door knocking takes a lot of time and effort, whereas cold calling, it takes time and effort as well too, but you can do a ton of calls. In the time that you can knock on 10 doors, you can make 100 phone calls. So I would go on, get Mojo Dialer or whatever type of dialer, and I would circle prospect the neighborhood. This is where I'm calling the neighbors and saying, hey, my name is Christian with Onyx Homes. The reason for my call is I'm doing an open house in your neighborhood this weekend. I just wanted to let you know there's going to be some extra traffic. And by the way, I have a full market analysis done on your neighborhood. Would you want me to share that with you? By the way, do you know of any of your neighbors that are thinking about making a move, right? That would be the type of conversation. There's a lot of scripting for circle prospecting, but that gives you the idea of what you're trying to do. Invite the neighbors to the open house. Ask them if they want a market analysis on their home. Again, we're talking trying to get more prospects or listings. The third thing is going to happen as you continue to do the open houses. If I'm doing an open house for a 3-bed, 2.5 bath at your median home price in this city, the likelihood of the buyers coming to that open house that are looking for exactly that is pretty high. So if they're not going to buy that house, which if they did, you just did a deal, congrats. But the likelihood of them buying something else that's similar is rather high. So every single buyer that you get from that open house, you can now leverage to that entire neighborhood and say, hey, I'm hosting this open house in the neighborhood. I found a buyer that this house isn't right for them. They're looking for these different things. And if you have any interest in selling, let me know. This person's ready to go. And this is something that will make you more valuable to the buyers. So you will attract buyers at a higher rate. And you can actually get a listing from this as well too. All of these things, we're talking about deals. So those are the 3 different strategies. So you're doing your open houses 12 to 5, Saturday and Sunday. You're putting out your signs in the morning. You're going to knock on some doors. You go home, you cold call, or you do the cold calling during the week. Third thing is you do buyer letters. You do 5, 10 a week. Or if you don't want to pay money for mailing while you're doing your door knocking, maybe you drop 50, 10, 20, 100, whatever it is per week on the doorsteps. Lots of different ways to do it. You can do it cheaper. You can do it more expensive. Honestly, it depends on your situation. So those are the 3 things. First of all, start doing open houses. Add those 3 things on there. Now, the third thing that I'm going to talk about in here, the third chunk, is going to be doing social. So all of this you can do this weekend. Like unless it's Saturday, you can do this Saturday and you can start doing this correctly. I would post on social and I would show what I'm actually doing. For example, let's just stick with the open houses. Saturday morning when I'm waking up and going out to put my signs out, I'm going to be documenting that. I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm going to selfie stick it. I'm going to say, hey, I'm out here putting open houses in whatever neighborhood. And I would maybe tell a story. But the point is, I want to show that I am actually working. I want to show what I'm actually doing. The next thing on top of this is I'm going to show that I'm making buyer letters for my clients. The people that have agreed to work with me on the buy side, I am sending out letters to find them off-market opportunities. Nobody does that. The top 1% of agents do that, but that's why they're the top 1%. And even them, I know a lot of agents that do this religiously in their business, and they don't advertise that they do it on social. It's insane. Show that you're actually putting in the work. I don't know why more people do not show what they actually do. Pick up your phone, take a picture, and show yourself doing the work. So that's your daily documenting. So that's just putting out the signs. The next thing is doing the open houses, take a picture of you calling. I'm trying to find a listing for my buyer to buy that I met at this open house. All of these things compound. You meet a buyer at an open house and now you're taking out them property tours. Document that. I'm showing this person 5 properties. I did a buyer strategy session with this person. Document that. I talked to somebody that's thinking about selling their house. I put a full CMA together. This is what there was. Do you know anybody that would find this valuable? All these different things. This is content that you can document your daily activities. The second part of this is share case studies. So as you actually start getting traction, and this doesn't even mean deals. I think a lot of people screw this up. It's like testimonials or case studies do not have to be just closed transactions. Every single time you talk to somebody and then you solve a problem for them, that is an opportunity for a case study. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you talk to somebody who is like, I'm thinking about, I just got a DM the other day from one of our consumers on our Instagram channel or whatever it was. And they said, hey, I'm thinking about adding a second bathroom to my house. What would that do to property values? And would it change my property taxes? I answer that question in a DM and nobody ever sees it. So if I make a piece of content about that is a case study of how I helped that particular person solve their problem, that again is content that shows that you're valuable. This is going to help you stand out leaps and bounds above 99% of the agents out there. Third part of this is answer the questions you get. I just use that example. So you answer whatever questions you get from all customers, post that answer. So if one person asks you, hey, what is a contingency? It'd probably be pretty helpful for you to explain on content what a contingency is. Now, what is content? Honestly, if you get in front of a camera like this This is a long form video. It takes a little bit more prep, I guess. I have a fancy studio set up, but honestly, my first video was my computer here, no mic, and an ugly white wall background. So like, it doesn't have to be a beautiful setup. Let me make sure I didn't mess my beautiful setup up. Or you can just do short form, right? It could be TikTok style, Instagram Reel style, or it can be a LinkedIn Word post. It can be a Facebook Word post. It can be an email, whatever. You get the point. Content is content. Show what you're doing. Do not tell. I'm also going to give a pro tip here is, for the love of God, do not take your personal Instagram and then abandon it and start posting on a real estate specific, like professional page. Just turn your personal page into a professional page and post real estate on your personal page. I think it's insane that people are like, oh, I want SOI deals. And then you go start your own real estate page as if anybody wants to follow that already knows you. Like, it's hard enough to get people to follow you anyway. But if they already are, and if they don't want to see it, they unfollow you. And like, who cares? I think that's insane. All right, let's do a quick recap right here because I got a lot more coming. First thing, do the open houses. Second thing, leverage the buyers. That was the cold calling, door knocking, and buyer letters. Third big chunk is social content. This is showing what it actually likes to work with you. The fourth thing that I have is ask for referrals. Referrals will close. I mentioned earlier, open house leads, you should expect to close roughly 1 out of 10. If you get referrals, which you should, roughly 1 out of 10 people should refer you business. Maybe 2 out of 10 people should refer you somebody. If one out of 10 closes from an open house, referrals will close at 20%, which is 1 out of 5 people rather will close a deal from a referral. And again, most agents screw this up is they wait for a past client. They wait for somebody to become a past client before they will ever think of asking for a referral. I cannot think of anything dumber than that. I personally did this too, so like, I'm dumb. But you don't have to continue this mistake that 99% of agents make. Every single person you meet is a referral. Every single person who tells you, hey, you know what, Christian, we decided we're not going to buy this year. Fantastic. Since I'm going to have a lot more time since you're not buying this year, which one of your friends is moving next? Or what, you do a CMA for somebody. Who do you know, not do you know anybody, who do you know that would get value from me doing this for them, right? If you do an equity review for somebody, who do you know that would like me to do this on their house? That's just get in the habit of asking every single person for a referral. I have 2 agents on our team that implemented this into their business and immediately added roughly $10 million in sales. And it was get 1 referral every single week. If you get 1 referral a week and you close them at 20%, you will do $10 to $20 million in sales just from that. Cannot emphasize the importance of that enough, and it does not have to be past client. And by the way, if you are liking this style of content, I have an entire masterclass built out in our free community. This goes through the entire thing. This has not only all of my training, which obviously is on YouTube as well, but the entire masterclass that goes through exactly the same training that I have used with my team. In 2025, we sold almost $300 million in sales volume, which was $100 million more than we sold in the previous year. The sales process is something that I attribute to our success over and over and over again. It is why brand new agents see a huge uptick in their business and experienced agents increase their conversion rates as well too. So if you want full access to that, click the link down below. It is school.com/start, and I will see you inside. All right, back to the video. So number 5, this is the 5th big chunk in here, is if you are working 40 hours a week and do not have any leads, you should be prospecting for 40 hours a week. And I want to really drive this home. That might sound obvious, but if you go get a W-2 job anywhere, you're going to work 40 hours. 40 hours is the minimum amount of hours for a full-time job. If you have no leads and you're doing the open houses, is what I just said. Okay, cool. So you're doing 12 to 5 for 2 days, which is a long open house. Most agents don't even do that. So you're doing 10 hours of just open houses. Fantastic. And maybe you put out signs and do the door knocking that I talked about for an hour. Let's do 2 hours. Now we're at 2 hours, Saturday and Sunday. That's 4 plus the open houses. Now we're at 14 total hours of work out of 40. So you have, what is my public math here? 26 extra hours of work to do. So what do you do in those times? This is where if you don't have leads, you should have 26 additional hours of prospecting. How do you prospect? You can reach out to people you know, you can reach out to people you don't know, you can make content, and you can make paid ads. That's it. This is straight out of Alex Hormozi's Leads book. Those are the 4 different ways you can generate leads. So I'm going to go back to the very first point that I mentioned that I didn't talk about in this video is you should be on a team. I cannot emphasize this enough. Regardless of experience level, if you are in a point in your business where lead generation is not your thing, I have a newsflash for you. It is not getting easier. I can tell you from spending almost $100,000 a month in advertising and having generated 1,400 leads a month every single month for my team for the last year, it is not getting easier. It's getting more expensive. It's getting harder to generate leads. And not only is it getting harder to generate leads, it's getting harder to do it profitably. It is almost impossible to generate leads profitably. And once you find something that works, you have to just double down on that. And joining the right team is absolutely the best way to do that. So if you're in Southern California, I'll give a quick plug for us. OnyxHomes.com. I promise we're hiring for full-time agents that want to follow a sales process, that want a proven system, and they want to be successful. So if you want to do that, go to joinOnyxHomes.com. If you're anywhere else in the United States or in the rest of the world, find the best team in your area and join them, because that's what we are in our area. We are striving to be the best possible place in our team. But anyway, the reason that I mention this is because I will now talk about what agents on our team do. So if an agent on our team has 26 hours of additional work that they can do, we have a lead pond. So we have 15,000 leads that have good phone number, good email, good name. They have opted into something at some point. Maybe it was a Realtor.com lead. Maybe it was somebody downloading our home buyer guide, whatever it was. But these people have opted in and raised their hand as interested in real estate. So you can go in there and make 5, 10, 20, 50, 200 calls a day. And with our team, anybody you have a conversation with, you can keep that lead, assign it to your name, and you're responsible to follow up with that lead forever. When we onboard an agent to our team, one thing we do is we take 100 leads out of the most active leads out of our pond. We assign it to them, and we give a 7-day game plan to reignite a database. And what happened literally last week was an agent got those 100 leads, made those phone calls, did exactly the game plan, signed a listing for $1.5 million, and that's their first deal in their first week. Mind you, they have been on a team at another brokerage for a year and have sold 0. And within 7 days of a proven process and opportunities, having success. This is why I say joining a team is just so important, especially a good team, because not all teams are equal. But anyway, this is just all they did. So if an agent actually did this for 26 additional hours, you would be so busy so fast you wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. That is the reality. Now, most people won't do that, but that's okay. This is the game plan, honestly, until you get to $100,000 in income. Now, I'll give you one more thing that we do with our team is we generate tons of inbound that goes to our agents. So it's not like leads for our team are just you go in there and make your 100 calls a day, which you can and should. Our ISAs are calling the same leads and are finding 2 to 4 people, maybe on average 2 people every single day that are looking to move in the next 6 months and are ready to talk to an agent and or lender, and those close deals. So this is something you can go and if you just did that every day, if you got 2 new leads every day that are ready to move in the next 6 months, you're going to do a ton of business. So that's that. The other thing we do is we generate tons of inbound leads. We have relationships with other lead providers like Zillow and Realtor.com and all the other ones. Those are the 2 biggest ones. So we get hundreds and hundreds of leads every single month that go directly to our agent that are generally, I want to see a house tomorrow at 3 o'clock. As bottom of funnel lead as you could possibly imagine. The third bucket we have is our inside sales team. So I just mentioned our inside sales team takes all of our inbound leads that don't go directly to an agent. They filter that for ready to move in the next 6 months, ready to talk to an agent and has the ability to buy, and we get those or sell, and we get those transferred over to our agents as well too. Those are the 3 buckets that we offer for our agents. Pond, which has tens of thousands of leads, or rather 15,000 leads, I should say, with good everything. The second is leads that go directly to our agents. The third are also leads that go directly to our agent that were from the ISAs. So if all of this doesn't get you to $100,000, it's probably because you're not spending your time doing the things that are the most important, or you're not following a sales process. So if you're not following that sales process, I highly, highly, highly encourage you, instead of recreating the wheel, go check out our sales process. It's in the school community. It's totally free. Now, once you get to the 100,000, what do you do to double your sales? I have a video that I'm going to share with you in a minute, but this is the playbook. It's very simple. Number 1, focus on what already works. Wherever you're getting your business from right now, do more of it. If you can't do more of it, do it better. I can almost guarantee you can just do more of what you're already doing. Second thing is invest 10% of your income and no more into marketing. Here's just a pro tip. Spending $600 a month on buying leads is not going to do anything for your business. If you have a real intention of growing a true business, your maximum marketing budget should be 10% of your actual income. So, number 1, focus on what's already working. Number 2, reinvest 10% of marketing. Number 3, leverage what you already have. You probably don't need to go generate more leads. You probably just need to go treat your database like you actually love them. So, if you want a more in-depth version of this lead multiplier system, go ahead and watch this next video.